Sanibonani emakhaya. Sesifikile leso sikhathi. Thank you so much for watching from all the different parts of our country. You're watching Talk SA and we've got another jam-packed, exciting educational show for you. Now, life as we know it wouldn't be possible without the light and the heat from the sun. There's so many different ways that you can use it, and it gives light and love and cheer to all of us. Kodwa ubuwazi ukuthi uyakwazi ukupheka usebenzisa ukushisa kwelanga? Well, uyakwazi njengoba sibone umngani wethu enza i-solar oven. Namhlanje kuyi-Talk SA, we're going to be looking at all the different ways that you can use the sun. It's going to be a jam-packed solar power show because you know what? The solar revolution is here.
Kajeno ho Talk SA. Re bua le Tumelo a etsang art e makatsang ka motjheso wa letsatsi. Re bua le Cosby ka Sunfire Solutions. Hape re tjhakela polasi ya pele ya solar provinseng ya Leboya Bophirima. Re bua le ba Greenpeace ka bohlokwa ba ho hlokomela naha ena ya rona. Ebe re ithuta ho etsa le solar oven. Tula le rona ho Talk SA.
Sunfire Solutions is South Africa's longest-running company that specializes in solar cooking and clean energy cooking appliances. Let's go meet the founder and find out all about it. So welcome to the show, Crosby.
Thank you, it's nice to be here.
Tell us about Sunfire Solutions.
Sunfire Solutions, we started it 10 years ago and we specialize in solar cooking and clean cooking technologies in general.
How or when did you encounter a solar cooker?
I started in around 2004 and 2005. I went up to Zambia. There was a solar eclipse and there was an event there. And some people had come from Germany to set one up. And I saw the technology there and I was intrigued because here's a device that cooks only with the sun's energy.
Yeah.
And, you know, around 3 billion people, or half of the world, are still using firewood for cooking. And so I got more and more interested in this technology, which seemed to have fallen between the gaps. And I started the company shortly after that.
Tell us, are South Africans aware of solar cooking?
South Africans are becoming increasingly aware of solar cooking, but when we started 10 years ago, there was almost no awareness. You would always go, people would go, solar what? And they think about the panels, they think about the geysers, but the awareness around cooking was very, very minimalistic, which is quite strange because Southern Africa is blessed with such beautiful sunshine. We're really one of the most perfect places in the world for solar cooking, so the technology can really catch fire here. So that's changing. It's becoming much more of a mainstream technology, like it is in China, India, and Nepal.
Solar energy. Yeah, ke
What do you know? What's in ngai?
ke tseba e ke utlwelang ke a tshejole ke ba buang ka yona ba gangata ba bua ka o bona di geyser tse na le nthweng gangata re ke rutlo ba re ke e tswang directly from ko letsatsing energy eo
Awukazize ngayo?
Mangayazi ukuthi isebenza kanjani.
Yeah.
Anenti le isebenza
Yeah, ngelanga.
ngelanga.
Aniyazi solar energy uthini?
Yeah, isolar geyser.
solar geyser.
So a solar cooker is what the name describes. It's appliances that use only the sun's energy to cook. But essentially it's concentrating all the sunlight to one area where you can generate enough heat to cook. And where it goes from the small solar cookers that we do to the large power stations around the world that can power a whole city. If you can see some sort of shadow on the ground, then there's enough energy coming through to do something. But ideally for your parabolic solar cooker, you want a clear sky like today. You want clear shadows. Then you can fry, then you can braai, then you can boil water easily. But with your solar oven, it can handle a bit more cloud cover because it's insulated.
Yay! So you're going to show us how it works?
Yeah, let's put it in action. So we just turn it towards the sun. And as we get it towards the sun, it's going to line up with the kettle. It's going to come under the pot. And just like that, it starts to cook.
And what are the benefits of solar cooking?
Benefits of solar cooking are huge. They're the only appliance on earth that will cook your food for free for 5 to 10 years, theoretically forever onwards. Some of these products you can leave to your children. There's simply nothing else on earth that will boil water or cook your food for that amount of time without any extra fuel costs. As soon as it's lined up, you're getting enough temperature there to cook on. Let me show you.
Wow.
And that's why
Oh my goodness.
that's why we call it
no
sunfire.
ways. Oh, that's amazing. Just from the sun and
Just from the
reflected.
sun's concentration, that's all it is.
And it started, I mean, so it's really, really hot, the fact that it just started, you know, was able to
Absolutely
burn.
immediate. It has to be as close to in temperature to a fire if people
Yeah.
are going to want to change over to it.
And do you have to wear protective glasses or
Yes,
something
we
for?
do supply them with sunglasses. So in the beginning, you're going to be looking as to where your focal point is. Also, it's better to stand behind it. But there are times you're going to be working in front of it. So we do
Yes.
supply it with polarized sunglasses to protect the eyes. But after some time of practice, you'll know exactly where your focal point is.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Oh, these Sunfire products are just awesome. High five.
awesome.
That was very interesting. Ke mangana a tseba hore o ka pheha masutsa ntle le mollo. Ha re khutla papatsong, leto la rona le tswella pele. Re ya provinceng ya Leboya Bophirima, mo re lo bonang polase ya pele provinceng ena ya solar energy.
A solar power farm is something very much like you see in the background there.
Ke dipolase tse kae tsa solar energy provinceng ya Leboya Bophirima? A, e nngwe fela. B, ke tse pedi. Kapa C, ke tse tharo. Thola karabo ha re tswa papatsong. O se tsitsinyehe. Pele re ya papatsong, re botsitse hore dipolase tsa solar energy di kae provinceng ya Leboya Bophirima? Karabo ke A, e nngwe fela. O ne o tseba hore solar oven ya pele ya solar e etsuwe ke scientist e tswang Switzerland ya bitswang Harris Benedict. O ne a nke lebokoso le tshireletsang hore motjheso se ke wa baleha le dileyara tse tharo tsa kgalase ho monya motjheso wa letsatsi mo e neng e fihla ho 110 degrees Celsius. Jwale wa tseba.
Sanamgela futhi kuyi-Talk SA. So in simple terms, solar power is the conversion of sunlight to electricity. Uma kuwukuthi are we understanding kahle le ndaba, khuleka. That's why we're here at Rustmo 1, which is one of the first ever solar power stations, and we're going to find out all about it. So come along.
Rustmo 1 ke projeke e leng ya qetwa ka la Pudungwane 2013. Ha ya ka ya thusa Eskom fela ka ho ifepela motlakase. E thusitse ka ho etsa mesebetsi e hlokahalang. Diperesente tse 80 tsa basebetsi ba tswa hona mona mo polasing ena e leng teng.
Gareth, welcome to Talk SA.
Thank you very much for having me here.
What exactly is a solar power farm?
A solar power farm is something very much like you see in the background. It's basically a field or a piece of land that consists of thousands of solar photovoltaic modules. So basically what we do is we take the energy or the sunlight that we capture from the sun, which produces energy, and the farm then takes that energy and exports it to an Eskom substation, which then feeds it into the local area network or the grid in that area. And that's distributed how Eskom sees fit to either businesses or mines or domestic households.
What informed your decision to have this particular solar power farm here?
Basically, we looked at a number of areas. A lot of people like the Northern Cape because it's got high amounts of insolation or radiation, basically a greater degree of sunlight and less cloudy and rainy days. But we liked Rustenburg because the insolation or radiation levels are quite good here. It uses a massive amounts of power. You know, most of the platinum mines are based here, so there's always a continual demand for power.
And how did this project come about?
I was in the UK for a few years assisting with their renewable energy program there and also implementing some solar farms. And we saw the program through the Department of Energy who was looking to put together an independent power producer program for renewable energy, sort of to come to fruition. And my business partner, who we'd been in a business before, we talked and we said, look, this is really where we see the future going. We'd love the opportunity to do something in South Africa with solar, with energy, using the abundance of sunlight in the country. And that's really how the ball started rolling.
ithutile ka Rustmo 1 through an online article. Ke badile hore former Energy Minister Diport Peters this plant last year. So I Google more, I got the details there, I apply for a learnership, and then surprisingly I got it.
Ba ne ba bolela ka yona ko sekolong. And then ke ile ka Google ra be re bona hore ho etsahalang ka yona and e foundiwe ke mang, name, information yo kaofela.
And how do the locals feel about the fact that some of their power is coming from a solar farm?
I think we've had a lot of positive interaction with the locals. People are quite excited to see sort of a solar farm. It's quite new and novel. They're interested to hear that they're getting energy, as in electricity, from the sun, as opposed just from the coal-fired power station. So in all our interactions, locals are quite excited, and I think everyone's been quite positive about the project.
Nice. And what are the benefits of solar power?
The main benefit is that it's clean, renewable energy that we generate. So as long as the sun shines, we generate energy. And I think it's good for the country to have an energy mix. You don't want all your power from coal or from nuclear or from renewable. You like an energy mix. And I think really that's where the Department of Energy is getting things right, by creating that mix for the country.
Sister ke simolotse ka ngogola ka di 1 tsa ngwalatsele.
Ke eng o ithutile ka solar energy?
Solar energies a tshwane le go generator like go tshwana kana le malatlha like because there's no pollution like, and it absorbs energies from the sun, as you know.
Are you guys planning on having any more solar farms?
Yes, we'd love to roll out as many as we could. Obviously, we need to, it's a very well-run process by the Department of Energy, so we need to go through the same process again. We'd like to do the farm, like the piece of land adjacent to the solar farm, and a number of others we're looking at. So we're quite excited about the future and about developing more solar farms in the country.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Gareth. It's been very interesting and I've learned a lot.
Thank you very much for having me here.
Yeah, ngingezwe ngesolar geyser, but solar cookers I haven't. Yeah.
Ungayisebenzisa solar geyser?
Yeah, ngiyayisebenzisa.
Yeah, ngiyayisebenzisa.
Okay.
Yes and no.
Why you say yes and no?
Yeah, during summer it's okay. Metsi are warm. During winter, when it's like, hey, it's heavy, there's no sun during winter. And I gain that knowledge because of that thing.
Solar geyser is safer chelete, especially mo batho ba sa bereke.
Ai nna ke na le problem ya solar geyser ya dutla.
Rona go zonto ndi solar geyser za rena a dina problem. Di re fa metsi a fisang at any time, mari ga selemo metsi a fisa. Yeah, e teng solar geyser, mara ina le mathata. If una le problem ga yona go ne ba ne ba di lokela. Bana ba di install.
Even
though
the contract e tsamaile mara rena le batho mo motseng ba e leng gore ba re thusa ka problem e rena le tsona.
Ha re khutla papatsong re shaba mofuta o mong o fapaneng wa art o bitswang solar art. Afrika Borwa e na le dihora tse kae ka selemo letsatsi le tjhabile? A tse 5,000 kapa B tse 10,000 kapa C tse 2,500. Thola karabo ha re khutla papatsong. Pele re ya papatsong re botsitse hore Afrika Borwa e ka ba le dihora tse kae letsatsi le tjhabile? Karabo ke C, dihora tse 2,500. O no tseba hore kgetlo la pele mo solar energy e neng e sebedisetswa teng e ne le ho fa di space station motlakase. Jwale wa tseba.
Wow, there's so much that we can do with our natural resources, and Tumelo can attest to this. He's one of the few artists popularizing a new form of art called solar art. Now, it's an eco-friendly art form that integrates new technology in relation to the collection and the use of solar power.
Ho thwe Tumelo o tseba ho tjhesa di-pattern tse mmakatsang haholo patsing. Tlohole rena he re tjhakela Tumelo, hobane se ke batla ho se bona.
Siyabamkela kwi-Talk SA.
Thank you.
So, kupa o re bolele gore o thomile neng ho etsa solar art?
Ke qadile jara tse 5 tse fetileng.
What intrigues you about it?
Well, solar art for nna a se ntho e neng e le hore ke a e batla hobane kgale ke e etsa. Qale ke le monyane ke dlala ka di-magnifying glasses ke ipapalla fela ke sa tsebe hore ke etsa art.
Are you an environmentally conscious person?
I mean, yeah, too much. Yeah, ke motho o hlokometseng ntho eo wa bona a ke e etse fela hore ke a etsa. Hobane art ka kgona hore e utlwise nature bohloko. Ke ntho eo ke reng ya ke motho o conscious haholo ka environment.
And if honale young people aba batla ho etsa solar art, how do they go about learning about it?
Na o so ban le sekolo exactly for learner solar art. Ke na lo rana di-workshop, ke na lo bontsha batho re etswa jwang. So ke ka tsela eo ke na le ho bontsha youth hore solar art ke ntho e jwang. Rona le di-dangers, rona le dilo tse o sa tshwanela ho di etsa. Ke yona ntho important haholo hobane ha o batla o re o etsa art bese o itematsa. I wish hore nka thola chance ya hore ke tsamaye ke lo spread information ke bontshe batho. Ke yona wish ya ka eo hobane ke aware hore education about it is so ngata wa bona batho ba so tsebe haholo ka what is solar art.
So Tumelo, what do you need gore o thome?
Okay, you need a pair of gloves. These are gardening gloves. Anybody can get them. I like them because of my skin can breathe. White coat like that. Then the most important is the goggles.
Yeah, goggles.
Yes. Or magnifying lens.
Yeah.
Yep. Piece of a shutterboard wood. Then I'm burning.
Hi, uyayishaya lento yakho. That looks so cool. And you make it look so easy. Oh, nice. Can you believe it? Solar art.
Greenpeace e tsebahala ka diketso tsa bona tse sa nkeng motjha. Ba tsejwa ile mokgatlo o bonahalang wa environment lefatsheng ka bophara. Ho bohlokwa haholo ho utlwisisa hore re tshwanela go hlokomela environment ya rena jwang. Hape ditlamorao ke tsefe ha re sa etse jwang.
So Ruth, welcome to Talk SA.
Thanks so much for having Greenpeace on the show.
Tell us, what exactly is Greenpeace?
Greenpeace is an environmental organization that exists because this fragile earth needs a voice, and Greenpeace Africa in particular is concerned about the people on this continent and what is in their best interests.
And what is renewable energy?
So renewable energy is energy derived from infinite sources. So one of those is the sun. We know that currently we can draw energy from the sun in order to produce power. Either you can use the sunlight, so essentially you turn the light into electricity, which is called photovoltaic, or you can use CSP, which is sort of like your magnifying glass, where you put a magnifying glass and that creates heat and then you can generate power. And our solar water geysers work in that way. There's also other forms of renewable energy. Not all of them are available in South Africa though, such as geothermal. You can also use hydro. At the same time, you've also got wind energy from the waves. So as the waves move, and you know it's perpetual energy, and that can be used also to generate energy. But as you can see with each one of these sources, the power is infinite. So the waves never stop moving, and the sun will always be shining, and the wind will always be blowing. There must be a transition from fossil fuel-based economies towards renewable energy. This will ensure that we can include energy access and energy security on the continent, but as well as create jobs and move the continent towards a sustainable future.
And I mean, it's a mindset change, right?
Indeed, you're quite right. It is a mindset. There needs to be a change in mindset towards a more sustainable future that we know will actually create energy for the continent. Nearly 2.5 million households in this country don't have access to energy, and we know that across the continent it's as high as 80% of people who don't have access to energy. Renewable energy, because it can be decentralized, is able to get there faster and cheaper and be able to provide people with energy access. Right now, there are people who do have electricity, but they can't afford to use it. And so those are some of the issues that renewable energy will tackle, and I think the big one really is job creation. We know that renewable energy in this country can create 150,000 jobs by 2030 and even greater amount of jobs by 2050.
And I mean, it's not just about saving our environment, but it's also about creating jobs, and I never would have thought of that.
I think certainly, as we said earlier about mindset, it's about looking at the picture holistically.
And what can, you know, the everyday person do?
I think one of the biggest issues is around energy efficiency, the changes that you can make in your home. And I mean, it sounds very simple, but switch off the lights if you're not in the room. For example, switching to a more energy efficient kettle if you have the opportunity, you know, if you're buying a new kettle, or energy efficient appliances in your home will make a huge difference, one, to your own electricity bill to start off with, but also have an impact on the planet. But also there's issues around consumption. I think as society has grown, we've also become a more greedy society, and in every household there's at least 6 cell phones, an iPad, and all of these items. And I think starting to look at our consumption patterns and saying, do we really need these? When you go shopping and they ask you, do you need a plastic bag? How many other plastic bags have you picked up prior to that? And do you really need these, the one that they're offering you? And I think issues like that are things that we can start to look at in our day-to-day life, how we contribute to the problems.
Thank you so much for joining us on Talk SA.
Thanks so much for having Greenpeace.
Jwale ka ha motswalle wa rona a ntse solar oven ha thokese e ne qala re tlo bontsha hore o ka etsa ya hao jwang. O tlo hloka dintho tse latelang. Ya pele, le bokoso la pizza. Ya bobedi, foil ya aluminium. Ya boraro, plastic wrap. Ya bone, tape. Ya bohlano, sekere. Ya botshelela, hulara. Se ha hore o be le sekwaelana ka hodimo ha lepokoso la hao la pizza. Thathela lehlakore la lepokoso la hao le ka tlase le ka hare ka foil. Lehlakore la foil le benyang ka ntle, mme o ipetche ka tape. Beha dijo tsa hao ka hara solar oven ya hao. Kwahela ka plastic wrap ya hao. Sekwaelama seo se ntseng pele, mme o se tape. Prop the flap open ka ruler ya haho in position hore e lebane le letsatsi. Jwale he, tlohela letsatsi le phehe dijo tsa hao. Ho tswa ka hore ke nako efe ya letsatsi. Bakeng sa motjheso le dintho tse ding. Ho ka nna ha nka ho feta hora. O etse ka hloko ha o ntsha dijo tsa hao hobane e tla be e tjhesa.
Ngiyathemba ukuthi nikujabulele ukuba nathi la kwi-Talk SA nokuthi kuningi enikufundile namhlanje. Mina ngifunde kakhulu. Ngithanda ukubonga wonke umuntu ofake isandla kulesiqephu. Siya from uObi Menzi ne-solar cooker to uRasmo 1, abase Greenpeace kanye noTumelo ne-art yakhe ehamba phambili. Ngiphinde futhi nginibonge nani ekhaya ukuthi beninathi namhlanje. Niyabo seniyakwazi ukuthi nenze i-solar cooker uma nithanda. Uma kuukuthi nikhohle hlanganyela nasi ku Facebook Talk SA na ku Twitter @TalkSA. Until next week, haribueng. Let's keep talking SA.